There's one section that we haven't touched upon so far, and that is bore sizes, wall thickness of barrels and that sort of thing. It's essential you take notice of bore sizes, wall thickness, because in case somebody has a gun that blows on them after you've worked on it and comes along and accuses you of being behind it, or it's your fault that it blew up or something. So you need to check a gun out really, and if it's dangerous, refuse to work on it. Now, by dangerous I mean barrels too thin. Now, a gauge like this is very useful. This gauge, it's got different sizes of heads that screw on the end, and it'll measure with all the different heads. It'll measure every size from 10 gauge right down to a 410. It'll do 28 gauge, the whole lot. Now, what you do with this one now. This one I've got the 12 gauge head screwed onto it, and I've got a little bit of tube here which is for checking or setting for setting the gauge to measure 12 gauge. Now this little tube is 0.70. So I slide it over there's three ball bearings in here which touch on the barrel, and they affect a dial gauge at the other end. So what you do, you put the tubing on. Now, with that tubing on, this should read 0 on the gauge. Now it's already set at 0, so that's okay. Now, I'll get a pair of 12 gauge barrels first. Now this is a pair of 12 gauge barrels. Now what you do, you measure the bores at 9 inches. I've got a little mark there, that is 9 inches along the gauge. Now you measure you measure 9 inches from the breech face, so you slide this into the bore up to the 9-inch mark, and then read off on the gauge what the bore diameter is. Now in this case, this one reads 740. Now that's 740, and the other one on the other side measures 745. Now the next thing to do is look at the proof marks underneath the barrel here. Now this gun has been proof tested many times, and the last time it went in, it was reproved. It was proof tested with metric sizes at 18.8, it says. Now you've got to convert that to then, if it's in metric, you've got to convert it to inches to be able to really understand it, unless you've got a list of a chart with all the different sizes on. Yeah. Yes, it's 18.8. 740. So 740. So this barrel, one measured 740, the other one 745. Now, the one is okay, but the other one is a bit enlarged. But you are allowed 0.008, 8 thousandths of an inch, before that barrel would be considered out of proof. In other words, enlarged to the extent where the proof marks would be invalid. Now, if that was proved under the old rules of proof, that is under the rules of proof of 89. Now, this only applies to England and Europe. It doesn't apply to America. We have no proof, and we have no proof houses, we have no proof rules. A dealer in this country or an individual can sell a gun that has barrels as thin as paper, and there's nothing to stop him. People in this country can sell a gun which they'll blow up on somebody, and they can't do a thing about it. In England and Europe, you cannot sell a gun that's dangerous, and that's what these proof marks that on the flats here are for. Now there's several rules of proof. There's the 1989 ones, and there's 1954 rules. There's 1925 rules of proof, and 1896 rules of proof. And that covers just about all proof marks you'll ever find on guns. Now, if this gun was proof tested under the 1954 rules of proof, things are a bit different. You would have been allowed 10 thousandths of an inch before the barrel was considered out of proof. And if a gun is out of proof, the bores have been enlarged more than, under the old rules, more than 10 thousandths of an inch, it is an offence to sell it in England or offer it for sale. And if you or I were in England and we sold a gun that was out of proof, enlarged more than 10 thousandths from when it was last proof tested, you can go, they'll be taken to court and fined £1,000, that's close on $2,000 for each barrel that's out of proof. You see, it's protecting the poor guy who doesn't know anything. So you've got to know all these proof marks and know what they stand for and what what sizes they're supposed to represent. So, and before 1989, they used to mark the barrels with the bore size. Like, for instance, a barrel will be marked 0.729 inches. That would be the diameter of the barrel at 9 inches from the breech.